Good morning and welcome back to this amazing NXL action we have lined up today. I'm Vince from Let's Talk Paintball, joined here in the booth by legendary coach and player Ryan Gray. How you doing this morning?
Good. Good morning.
Now, you are coaching SA Notorious, or FSU Notorious, right? They have a couple different names here at the 2022 NXL World Cup, and they're looking good, right? Looking good. They're missing a couple players, right? So you've had, I know you and I talked off camera, definitely had a couple different roster rotations. But how do you feel they're playing overall in this field?
Good question. So we started out yesterday with kind of a game plan that was really complex, where the front guys were kind of dictating the zones. But, you know, you lose a front guy, the back guy has to pick that zone up really quickly, and we were unable to really do that successfully as well. Got a lot of penalties. Then we came out the second match, and I really made things very simple, right? So when we did that, the guys played well. We ended up beating a pretty good team 5-0, and so we'll see today, right?
Yep.
But at least finish the day with a win and a little bit of confidence, I think, so that was helpful.
So in what we have going on right now is we have Chicago Distortion taking on TCP Machine, and then Noobies taking on Preferred Mob. Preferred Mob struggled a little bit the last couple events. This event, they seem to come in and really have synced things up, and they're playing really good. So
that was the team that beat us, actually.
Yeah. So and definitely one of those teams now where we can see in this set how they're going to do. So on your screen now, we have Chicago Distortion taking on TCP Machine. So TCP with the number 27 jerseys, all black. On your screen, we've seen that move quite a bit going up to that wedge on the snake side.
Yeah. So the guy will go in there, and he's just really trying to keep the snake the snake side of the field kind of locked up in that box over there on the snake side. So interesting, though, to see TCP Machine kind of lose the player out of that tower over there. You got to really number one, it's a great shot from Distortion, but number two, like, he had to be kind of lagging in there a little bit.
Absolutely.
You haven't seen very many people die out of that.
Yeah, and that's been the big push, is either for that tower going up into the Dorito side, which Snake not really been much of a factor on this field.
Yeah, it's so hard to get into. So the back center guy, the guy in the box on the Snake side, and this guy in the middle, or the guy in this wedge over here, and then also the guy, if he goes up into the center 50 and points his gun this way, there's just a lot to check off on to get out on the Snake side. So you kind of come in late, but it's a big reward when you get in there.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can see on your screen right now, Distortion. Farther up the field right now, I do believe that's Hank Stumpf, formerly of the Ironmen, playing with Distortion this event, trying to get the shot on the Dorito. So he's working back and forth in that little area, or not little, but the large area there, the window, as we're calling it.
He's doing a great job being active, too. You can see he kind of plays up over the top in the window and then kind of goes back, shows the edge. He's doing exactly what I would want as a coach.
So he's backed up right now by Henry Sense, a.k.a. Sensi, or Dan Sense. Yeah. I said Henry Sense. Dan Sensi, excuse me, who's in that wedge on the snake side right now. A little bit of a heads-up battle you can see there going on as both teams have that. Now, Distortion, a little bit of a better field advantage having Hank up in that wall structure, but neither team wanting to make a mistake right now. Saturday Paintball, we're going to start seeing things slow down a little bit. It was kind of a bang-bang plays yesterday, but as you can see, a little bit of a longer point as 3 minutes has already ticked off the clock.
Yeah, Distortion kind of played this way yesterday, too. And I think, you know, the teams that can come in and play Sunday Paintball on Friday, good for you, right? You're just going to be that much better going into tomorrow if they can make it.
Now, Distortion, they're a top 4 team right now in overall standing. Notorious sitting at third, followed by PB Fit and Blast Camp. So we will see with this one. This is definitely one of those moments for Distortion where they went 1-1 yesterday, so they need to win this one to get that positive momentum going. And TCP also 1-1 as well, I believe. Are they 2-0?
2-0.
So they played I believe they played their other game on the other field, so I wasn't able to watch it. So if you're unaware, we do have 2 fields going on for semi-pro. We are only covering the premier field on this side. I lost my scoreboard. So as you can see right now, still in that back bunker, I believe that's Idema in the back there for TCP Machine, really trying to keep the player honest. Oh, but Distortion does lose their center player coming over the top. That's the dangerous part, right, about popping the top on that.
It is, you know, and if I'm Distortion's coach, I'm telling my guy who's playing back center, he just now shifted over to the tower, like, hey, maybe get involved in the game a little bit earlier. What are you holding the side for? You got 2 guys over here doing that job already, but good for him for finally getting out. But they're matched up almost identically now. Other than one in the tower, and then for Distortion, and then TCP having a guy in the mini wall.
I believe on the field for Distortion, we have Haber, Weinrob, Kohler, and I believe that's Unger as well, as they're trying to get that kill.
Yeah, Distortion now in Dorito 3, and he should be able to do some work.
Yeah, Kohler struggling a little bit yesterday. Definitely seems that he has that, kind of like 1 second mentality. Gotta come into the day fresh. Can't keep yesterday on your head. So glad to see that he's wheeling and dealing up there. He's been quite the Dorito side attack for them all season long. And new pickup for them. I believe he played Division III, and he went to tryouts, got picked up, made a name, and now he's making a name for himself here on the semi-pro field.
Yeah, they were really frustrated yesterday in the pit. We played right after them yesterday as well, and we could kind of hear them in the pit. They were pretty frustrated at each other. Sounded like they were, they had all the zones locked down. They just didn't produce and create any offense, which they're doing this morning, which is fun to see.
I know one of the players that they are missing is Ryan Rodarte, who played the center for them amazing at Chicago, not able to make it here with the team. So they're definitely feeling that. But Dan Sensi has done a great job moving into that role, really taking over. But now, as Distortion's getting on the Dorito side, he's putting pressure on that wedge.
Yeah, he's on their side of the field now. He should be able to go to work. And so really what should be happening now is, this guy in the wedge should really start getting involved, or the guy in the brick needs to get outside.
So we've seen a lot, as things are breaking down like this, we have seen quite a few people break out into the snake and come up.
Yeah, so you got 2 guns this way, and the guy still, goes to the corner. If he's alive, somebody should get fired.
Oh.
He's not.
All right, so TCP Machine loses a body out of their corner as well. So Kohler clocking in right now, doing a great job getting those players. So bodies all tied up, 4-4, as we go down under the 10-minute mark here for their first point. So points margin, a little bit of a factor here, but also just the win, right? Saturday, they need the win to keep those hopes moving on. Like we said before, TCP 2-0 on the day. Distortion, on the other hand, here we go down the snake side. So great move here. I believe that's Haber. Dan Sensi follows up on that. So great job. Tough towel there for TCP Machine. They had the field locked up. They did get that early kill in Distortion, but not able to hold it together. So great move. Is that Haber or Wank? I believe that's Wank. Yeah, 23. So great job by Wank running down the field, getting that.
Yeah, TCP probably should have blown the horn a little earlier there. Like as soon as the guy got killed out of the corner, it's probably time.
Yeah, I was going to say this. The guy in the wedge was about to get ready to feel it as Wayne came down the field and put a couple extra in his back. So.
For sure. And if you're gonna play a 5-minute point, you have to consider that the next points may be just as long, right? And the reality is, on a field like this, you know what they call a 1-point win?
A win?
A win. That's right. Yeah. So you got to consider that if you've played 1 5-minute point, it's possible that you're going to play 2 more. You want as much time as you can.
Yeah, exactly. So Noobies lost both their matches yesterday. Preferred Mob goes 1-1. So right now, this is a must-win situation for the Noobies. They have to win this game and the next one to have any chances to try to move on to Sunday. P-Mob currently sitting in 3rd in their bracket right now. So with them, they need a win, and they need to try to win big too to try to make up those points differential.
Yeah. So Noobies is the team that we ended up playing second yesterday, and we beat them 5-0. So they got a big hole to dig out of. So even if they win both, they got to win big. Win big.
Exactly. And if you're not aware of the rules, so on the semi-pro, it's a 5-point mercy rule. So what that means is the first team to go up 5 points and create that deficit wins the match. Now, big push here from Noobies all the way through.
Yeah.
Both players onto P-Mob's side of the field. This is the kind of aggression we need to see from the Noobies right now. Understanding the situation they're in, they have to score points quickly, and they have to score a lot of them in order to end this game and try to get the win. So, but they do lose 2 players behind them, though. That does not help at all. So, looks like
very quickly becomes a 2-on-2.
through all of that chaos, not what the Noobies wanted. Did they get a penalty, did you see, or they just die out of their spots?
I didn't see a penalty.
I didn't see a penalty go up in the air, so...
I think what may have happened there, like as the middle guys ran through, the outside guys were expecting those outside guns to go in, and they just didn't. They stayed very zone controlled and just shot guys out of spots. So it might actually be a 2-on-1.
I think it's a 2-on-1. Now I believe it's a 1-on-1. I don't see another Noobies body. Is there someone? I don't know if there's a Noobies player on the Dorito side or not. All I can see the Noobies body here in the insert bunker to the Snake, this small Aztec. Looks like it's DeVivo from the Noobies. And Thorne, Jake Thorne, former New England Hurricanes player, coming over to P-Mob after Hurricanes had broken up. So we're seeing right now, as you can see, DeVivo. Very different story in this game, as all the action happened very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, it just goes to show like how differently the teams can play this field. You can play it in such an erratic way where you can win or lose a point in 30 seconds, but then play a 5-minute point also.
So DeVivo found he now realized it's a 1-on-1. He's moving back and forth in that back line. So Jake Thorne not in an advantageous bunker right now. Smaller spot. DeVivo definitely has the advantage being up top, but he's got to be careful. Thorne is one of those guys that can get squirrely in a small bunker, and he's proved it time and time again in the Snake. So we'll see who gets the shot first.
I would expect to see him try to get up into that little Mayan right in front of him. It's he can play all three sides there without having to kind of slide around.
Now DeVivo trying to play every angle here, even popping over the top a couple times. So right now, like we talked about, this is a big one. I don't see any team throwing a towel until someone gets shot just to save some time.
Yeah, no. No, both teams are going to bet on their guy.
Absolutely. So as things break down, so DeVivo making the inside move there, going over the Dorito side, try to spread the field out. What he's doing is he's trying to get a better angle on the Snake corner player, Thorne, but also trying to get lost in the process. There's a lot of bunkers in the middle you could get lost at and sneak that shot in.
I'm just really shocked that he hasn't tried to come out of this corner and get up into that tower.
So Thorne's got to be careful.
He just got shot. Ooh, maybe not. Maybe that one didn't count.
Semi-pro players are really good at the old Jedi mind trick. So it did look like he took a bounce from Thorne, so tough break there for Thorne as he did bounce DeVivo. I don't know why Thorne doesn't block the angle and go into that tower or go into the small Aztec there.
Yeah,
because he could block that angle out and move right in, but it seems like
he's much more mobile to both sides of the bunker. Without having to shift his feet and legs back and forth. He can go in there, get in an athletic stance, and he can play both sides as well as come over the top. The spot he's in now, he's pretty prone.
If you're just now joining us, again, I'm Vince from Let's Talk Paintball, joined here by Ryan Gray, coach of Notorious. We are in the first set of the day here, the 2022 NXL World Cup in Kissimmee, Florida, outside Orlando. We have a great day of action ahead of us as we're watching this amazing one-on-one go down between Thorne from P-Mob and DeVivo from the Noobies. What started off as an action-packed game has now devolved into a one-on-one situation after a huge move at the start of the match. Oh, and DeVivo gets the kill.
Yep.
Great job from DeVivo putting the team on his back in that situation and bringing it home. So this is what we need to see. We need to see Noobies gain that momentum now and win this match after looking like it was going to be a little chaotic at first there.
What a weird breakdown, too. Like, to come out as hot as they did, and then the guys out of the back just, I mean, if I'm their coach, I'm probably yelling a little bit. But, they win the point, so, it works out. But somebody needs to get that guy a beer and ice cream or something later.
Yeah. So as we're getting ready to get into this next set, with you being in the semi-pro pro bracket, what do you think about this premier field and what we're doing here?
So the concept is awesome. I love the fact that you guys are creating a way to narratively tell the story about the players in the semi-pro bracket. A lot of these kids you're going to see moving into the pro bracket, and it's cool that the viewers and fans can already kind of develop a small relationship with them. They have an understanding of where their backstory is, where they came from. And so when they get over there, they already have some people rooting for them, right?
Yep.
And I love when the kids are able to come up and go, like Diesel picked up a kid literally on Sunday at practice, Andy Horvath, got hurt. Mark Johnson walked down to the D3 field and was like, "Hey, kid, come on. You're up. You're up."
Yeah,
right?
They had been looking at him for a little bit.
They have, yeah, and he's getting to play, right?
Yeah.
He's not just a bench guy. He got some spins yesterday, did well. We watched a bunch of the matches last night, and we're obviously rooting for him, right? But it's neat that there's a way now for spectators to kind of get an idea of what goes on in the semi-pro level and give them a picture of also the difference and that gap between semi-pro and pro, because it is big,
yes.
right? Like, where is the gap between, Division II and semi-pro is a little smaller. The gap from semi-pro to pro is massive.
Absolutely.
Right? It's massive. I think if you go back and look over the last, 10 to 15 years and you scour the rosters of the top 5 teams, you're going to see all the same names, right? And those guys are now getting a little long in the tooth, and so it's important that these guys get an opportunity to go up and just test them, right? You're seeing it with the Hurricanes, even though those guys, they're no spring chickens, right? But they've gone up and they've done a great job, right? They're being competitive. They're in the top 10. They had a huge win yesterday, 7-0. So.
And we're seeing on this roster too for TCP Machine on your screen now, several former pros on this machine or on this team, as well as number 27 in the middle there, Dirty Joe Klockner, former Trade My Gun Outlaws player. You can see they're stacked up. Really, Dorito side is where a lot of the push has happened. And you're going to see these 3 bunkers right here, or some variation of Doritos. That tower on the Dorito side, that small wing as well, and then the Dorito 1 or the Dorito 2. For once, some people are calling it, and the baby. We've heard it called several different things. So now Distortion, a little bit more spread out there. We still matched up. They have a player in this juice box, this square, essentially a rectangle bunker. They have someone in the back center, the small Aztec, and then someone in the little wing as well. So
yeah, and this has been kind of Distortion standard. Interesting too, though, that the guy from
penalty on Dirty Joe Klockner, unfortunately. Didn't realize he got shot in the hopper, shaking his head, not happy about that. So that'll pull 2 off. If you're unfamiliar with the penalties, yellow flag, you and one of your buddies go. A red flag, you and 2 of your buddies go. So that was just a minor. That was a yellow. So great job filling over by Ganawicha, moving outside to try to stop that bleeding.
Yeah, and Distortion, pretty well their entire line is Trade My Gun Outlaws, right? Like,
yeah.
They have a couple of other guys, but pretty much the whole line is pro player.
Yeah, Haber, Wank, Weinrob,
yep.
all coming from Trade My Gun. So wouldn't that be the story if they end up winning the event and getting that pro spot back after it got sold last year? So
yeah,
but
yeah, kind of that news was of all the really interesting things that happened last year at World Cup, that might have been the biggest news.
Yeah.
Right.
So other news there, we're talking about semi-pro players in pro. So Latin Saints, who actually bought the Trade My Gun Outlaw spot last time, brings up the whole starting line from CEP.
Yep.
CEP, who we watched play semi-pro all year long. So between the CEP players, good concession there by TCP Machine.
Smart.
As Distortion had too many players up in the middle. They were pushing too much, and after that minor penalty, they were just kind of the TCP guys were just playing kind of a stopgap. They were trying to stop the bleeding any way they could.
Right, and with the time again
ticking down,
coming off that first 5-minute point, that's kind of what I was mentioning earlier. You got to assume that each point can be that slow, grindy. You need as much time as possible. Like, being quick on the horn is going to be a big deal in that one.
Absolutely. And getting back to what we were talking about, though, as far as semi-pros moving into pro, making his pro debut, Ethan Adams as well for Baltimore Revo. And then I also heard Justin Kim is looking or lined up at least to play for Houston Heat as a backup player for Chad George, who hurt himself, had a nagging ankle injury. Now, Chad's still playing, but we might see another semi-pro player there on the pro field. Now, going all the way into the snake, we're going to see P-Mob doing a great job getting in there. Definitely a missed opportunity for the Noobies. That gap is pretty large. So
So when you put a big push, though, up the middle of the field, like, coming back the next point and then flying a guy wide is important. Now, I don't know how this guy in the box is not shooting him with this little hill here, but that's okay.
So P-Mob player.
Yeah, if he'll just go now, he's going to shoot a lot of people. And the guy on the Dorito side right now should just be running havoc. Because all the guns are this way.
I was going to say, all the guns for the Noobies
the guys just switched.
Are pulled. Now, it's got to be careful here because the angle on the snake right now from the side that that Noobies is on, that snake side is, or snake angle is a lot better on that side than it is on the other. So in a situation like this, if you're the PMOB player, are you just going down the snake? Just going.
So if he can go all the way to their snake 1, so like the big box there at the end of the snake, he gets to block out back center and that brick, and he can shoot everybody in the back on the Dorito side. See, and he's kind of waited too long. I mean,
wow, great job.
Yeah.
So Noobies player missed the shot.
Right. Yeah. So, but again, if he'll just go ahead and go to their side, he'll shoot everybody on the Dorito side in the back, and then he can wrap, shoot the guy in the box, and shoot the guy in the back center, and the point's over.
So maybe too little, too late here as the player.
There he goes.
There he goes.
Yeah.
So there, check his pod pack. Oh, he is hit. So I was going to say, maybe too little too late, as they did have an angle on him from that back center. Now, the one thing to look out for is you can see the puffs of smoke because the temperature and the fog. If the snake player would have just kind of stayed there and hunted for a second, not made his body or his presence known, he could have got a lot of kills just based on the puffs of smoke alone, knowing where everybody is.
I don't know where he got shot. He had to have taken that off the break because he was low in here.
Yeah. That was they came in and checked him. I was kind of curious too, but.
Well, the refs are human, right?
But it looks great job though picking him up before he did some major damage. So
yeah, because I was about to get ugly.
Yeah, so still 4-on-4 right now. PMOB player repositioning. I believe that is Derula for PMOB there. John Derula, little brother of Matt Derula, here in that wedge, and Noobies in the back line. I mean, Noobies traditionally are a team that once they get up 1 or 2 points, they're like Tampa Bay Damage. They just hold. They just hold you.
Sure.
Because, like you said, 1 point win is still a win.
That's right.
But in the Newbie situation, they need
points.
They need points. So they need to be pushing as we go under 8 minutes to 7:52 left in the match right now. So this is going to be a tough test for the Newbies. So not only do they need to win, but like we said, they need to win big here. PMOB, though, sitting at 2-0. They could potentially take a loss here if they had to, as long as low points margin. PMOB's 1-1. TCP's 2-0. That's right.
Yeah.
So PMOB needs to win this one. Apologize. So many teams, so many different scores.
Well, in this bracket, so this is our pool, right? So in this pool, it's really interesting. There's one team who I think was the second to last seed is 2-0, right?
Yeah, TCP, yeah.
Right, and then everybody else is 1-1, and the Newbies are 0-2, right?
Yep.
So you have 3 teams sitting in the middle at 1-1. So today is really going to dictate, right?
And I believe it's top 2 from every bracket and 2 wild card.
Correct, yeah. So which is, like yesterday, one of the reasons our last point was really long and I didn't blow the horn, and the reason I didn't is I wanted to protect that point margin, right? I felt really confident that if we came out against the Newbies and played well, that we would end up with a pretty good score, and that happened, right?
Yep.
I think we're like number 6 with point margin, which means that if we end up in that wild card situation, as long as we don't just totally crap the bed today, we should be okay.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's one of the things here. I mean, as time ticks off the clock, Newbies have to be figuring out something right now, because with them being 0-2 and them needing a lot of points to have a chance, they could win the next 2 matches, go 2-2, but point margin be so low. And if everyone at home doesn't know what we're talking about with points margin, so essentially whoever has scored the most points or has the best points differential are the ones that take the top spots, as long as you have a win, right? You can't have a good points margin and get and lose. So with that though, as we're getting here, again, another long point. You see Stetton there in the back, number 24, telling his team where everyone's at.
Yeah, and the Newbies have a guy in Dorito 3 and a guy in the Dorito corner, and this guy in the Dorito corner needs to either come up and help or get involved in the middle of the field. He's just kind of letting time tick away, letting opportunity go.
Yeah, and if I'm PMOB too right now, I don't, because they're only down by 1, I don't really have to push the pressure right now.
Yeah.
I just got to make sure that Newbies don't go up a point. So if you're a Newbies coach right now, what are you saying? Like, hey guys, we need to. Are you tallying it right now to potentially save time?
No, not with 4 guys, but I'm throwing things. Just to be honest, I'm throwing stuff. I'm upset. Yeah,
I've never seen you throw something before.
I'm angry, right? Like, you know, I have a different problem with the Notorious guys. They go the other way. They have a tendency to lawlessly run down the field. You know, rarely do I have to tell them to go. It's usually the other way. Like, hey, slow down, slow down.
So Isaac Luke here, also a former pro player, played for Revo, getting into the snake now, going all the way down. I don't think they've picked him up yet.
No, they haven't. Yeah.
So if he does exactly what he should do, go all the way into, not picked up yet, go all the way into Noobies side of the field. When he pops up, he's going to start getting backs and pod packs.
Yep. Yeah, so again.
But he can't miss this first shot.
No, Noobies had the ball the whole time and it kind of given it away, you know. So there's the first one, and if he'll wrap now, and here he goes. Yeah.
Doing exactly what he should do. So great job.
Oh, he got shot.
A little too much there. He did do some damage, though. Pulled the guns.
2.
He got 2.
Yep.
So here comes P-Mob storming down the field. Does he get 1? A penalty. Oh, penalties on the major penalty on the Noobies, which is really going to hurt them.
Mm-hmm.
They're stop the clock.
Yep.
Wow. So things go from.
They're going to be down 1.
Yeah, I was going to say things go from bad to worse in that situation for the Noobies. So not only do they have to win and win big, like we've said before, but now they're going to be starting down a body because they got a major penalty with no bodies to assess.
Right. Yeah. So, you know, again, now if I'm the coach, I'm very angry, right? Because you got a guy in the corner, you got a guy in the Dorito 3, and you have the opportunity to create the tempo down the other side of the field, and you can give your guy an opportunity to get in the snake. You pull that. The guy in the box's gun has to go to the Dorito side if you're putting pressure that way. So they had the guy here in the snake side, kind of wedge. He was shooting the Dorito side, right? Which means this guy's pretty well free. He's manned up on only his mirror. So he had an opportunity to get out here into the snake if they will create the tempo over there. The guy in the corner needed to come up to the middle. If he comes up to the center, he again then makes the guy in the box's gun has to come into him, right? So pulls that gun away. Now he's playing nobody, right? So their guy in this snake side box on the newbie side could have come into the snake, and they then get to create the tempo instead of receiving a few kidney massages.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So, you know, what really broke that game open, in my opinion, was Isaac Luke really making that move into the corner, reading the guns, understanding the situation, and just causing enough chaos for a second to let that Dorito side push through. So,
yeah, absolutely.
So great job there, great pickup, great read. Kurt's not happy about that call right now, still arguing the point. Unfortunately, Big Dog, you know, you got to be careful because you argue too much, you could potentially get a minor penalty if the ultimate thinks you're being a little malicious here in your intent. So last thing you want to do is be down a body, then get a minor after the fact. Now you're down 3 bodies.
Yeah, so saw a rumor this morning that Tom Four had bought Baltimore Revo.
He did.
Wow. So I've known Tom for many years. You know, he brought Arsenal to Texas for a little while, and so we had an opportunity when we were Texas Storm to practice with them and the X Factor guys. I'm shocked to see him back, but I'm glad he's back. I think he's a great team owner, and it's another guy coming into the game who has a little money and might be able to help these guys, some of the pro teams, some of the pro players, especially the Revo guys. I really like them.
So Dan Sensi here again, great breakout here for Distortion. Dan Sensi, I think, has 13 pods on his back. So at this point, I think as long as Distortion gets the win, they'll be happy because he's probably going to live. He's going to buy furniture, you know, and carpet, and he's going to live in that wedge probably for the rest of the game.
I think it speaks a lot to their game plan when you see the guy who's furthest up the field with 13 pods.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So TCP here, a little different though. They did move up to the brick, or the wall on the Dorito side. I mean, Joe Klockner is shooting across, trying to stop any movement through.
And there's going to be none, right? So like him going up there and holding a zone, nobody's going to do that. So like you see, he went from the tower out to that little Dorito we were calling the baby, but there's going to be no movement from the Distortion guys because they don't have to, right? They're not going to force things outside. TCP has to create the tempo here. They have to figure out a way to get somebody into a spot that's going to be rapping and active and pull guns away. And looking at their posture, it just does not seem like that's a thing.
So you can see there what we were just talking about, Klockner holding off that zone, but Dan Sensi also holding off that zone as well. So that kind of becomes like no man's land a little bit. No one's going to go over there, just like you were saying. So what we need to really look at is here, as you can see on the Dorito side, we are going to get maybe a little action on this side as it is going to free up. But both teams still 5 bodies alive. No one is dropping yet. In this situation, Got the ultimate's going to give us a heads up that last point. Okay, so get some clarification. We were right. Noobies are going to start down a body, but it was for a spin, which you just can't do at this level. At this level, there really should be no excuses for spinning. I know it's a reaction situation, but when you're at the semi-pro level, I mean, you pretty much already should have that beat out of you.
Yeah, I call it selfish, right? It's just really selfish. You think your body is so valuable that your buddies behind you can't win. So.
All right, so big move here.
Finally. There you go, kid.
There we go. So big move there from the tower into the wall, and then on top of that too, Dorito player goes all the way around. Oh, and it's just a bang bang play right now as run through city just happened in the center area. So great job by that was Hank to pick up the read and understand the situation and got 2 bodies there.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was talking about. Like the idea that you're going to go in and zone up when you're down 2 points against a really solid team who really did have it locked up pretty well. That was the only opportunity was through the middle of the field. I thought maybe it was going to be the guy come this way. He went the other way, which was way smart, right? Because he gets to shoot this guy in the wedge in the back, not get contested in a 50-50 gunfight.
So Kohler making his move out to the Dorito side.
Yeah, 2-on-2, TCP loses their Dorito guy over there.
So right now, time ticking down, 3 minutes, 40 seconds left to go. TCP sitting at 2-0, down 2 points right now. So being in a 2-on-2 situation, this is a tough one because, like you said, Distortion is just going to get to those spots and lock it up. They're in right now. They don't need to move.
Yeah, and basically they're matched now, right? Each team has a player in the snake corner, and then the Distortion guy's out in the Dorito 2, and then TCP has a guy in the Dorito corner. So they're both teams have wide guys. This is going to probably go for a long time. Oh, I spoke too soon.
Well, TCP looks like Idema there getting into the snake right now, coming down. So he's trying to figure out how he can get a shot on. But, looks like the Distortion player picked him up in the snake. No, he's there now. So he's kind of stopped in a weird spot. Doesn't really have any shots right now as Kohler's sitting in the back. So, look, he's going to try to gun battle this corner.
If he backs up, he can shoot the guy in the Dorito. Yeah, and he just lost his Dorito guy next to him, so it's probably going to end pretty quickly here. But what I was saying earlier, off the chaos that happened in the middle, he should have gone into the snake right then. Right away, he should have gone in, just taking advantage of the fact that as soon as they began to run through, all those outside guns have to come into the middle to cut down the guys running through. He should have gone into the snake right then.
So Kohler knows where he's at now. He picked him up. So this is one of those situations where
I'd probably concede, right? I would have probably already done it.
Yeah, but then are they thinking about points margin too, right? At
Maybe.
2-0,
maybe
lose 1, but you only lose by 2.
So the problem too, even with point margin, is you got to start thinking about if we lose both today, we lose head-to-head opportunity, right? So then the point margin doesn't matter. So if Distortion beats them and then wins their second now, or loses their second, now they're both 2-2, right?
Yep.
And the point margin won't matter because they lost the head-to-head.
So just like Ryan was talking about there, when he was talking about the head-to-head, that means if we go to a tie situation in the bracket, the team that moves on is the team that has won the head-to-head match earlier in the tournament. So that will decide a tie in bracket moving on to Sunday. So as Noobies coming on to the field right now, looks like got Kurtz, DeVivo, looks like Matty Krapinski, and looks like it's going to be Stettin. So, yeah, this is a tough one. I mean, 4 minutes left to go. I mean, even if Noobies win this one, it'll put them in a little better of a win-loss ratio, but points are definitely going to be a little bit of an issue. And you're going to hear us talk about points quite a bit today on Saturday, just because this is the last day to try to make it in.
Well, in the other two pools, I don't think it's really going to matter. I mean, it looks like the Killers and Paintball Fit are doing exactly what we thought they would do and kind of running rampant through that pool. But then in the other pool, Blast Camp going 1-1 yesterday is going to create a little drama there. But I think there's one team in that pool who's gone 2-0, right? So it's going to mean a little less in those pools than it does in this one with 3 teams sitting at 2-2.
Yep. Looks so. A-Team and Royal City Sea Dogs
there you go.
are 2-0 in that pool.
Yep. And Royal City Sea Dogs are gritty and fun, and like we've played them 3 times, but they've been 1-point matches.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
they're really good with their guns. They communicate really well. They're aggressive, sometimes hyper aggressive, which makes it, as a coach, makes it a lot of fun to coach, right? Because you constantly are having to make adjustments, and they fly guys around all over the place off the break, and they make great secondaries. Like they're a fun team.
So as you can see here on your screen right now, So P-Mob here, Thorn backed up in the center there. Looks like P-Mob sitting at 1-1. Now, in semi-pro, we do have ties. So if it does end up tying, we will not go to an overtime. And that can be, this could put a team at 1-1-1. Like,
that is the one kind of factor that does come to play sometimes that really frustrating, because I wish we didn't have ties. This is America, for God's sakes. Let's not tie. Can you imagine going to a baseball game, right? And you get to the 9th inning and it's 1-1, and they're like, all right, game's over, and you just bought a $9 beer.
So
you're pissed.
So Troza, if you're listening to this, we need to get rid of ties.
Yeah, you're pissed.
So with that, we do have Noobies here. They're pretty content to lock it up. A tie is better than a loss. But
not if you're 0-2, right? If you're 0-2, that tie is not going to matter. They need to win this point.
So we'll see how it's going to break down. 2 minutes, 30 seconds left on the clock. Yeah, this is turning into one of those situations where the read and react is not as strong as it needs to be from the Noobies.
And I don't know why they went away from the offense. They come out that first point, running a really chaotic middle play. And then have been, since then, just really content with locking up zones and sitting back. And
we'll see here what they can do. We'll see who's going to take this match as we get ready to go under 2 minutes. Should be in. So, yeah, they're all. Their body position says we're not moving. Hunkered down on their knees, kind of tucked in.
If they, like this guy in the wedge over here on the snake side, if he'll go up to the center structure there and play this, I call them fangs, right? If we'll come over to this snake side fang and come right over the top, he'll shoot that Dorito guy right in the head.
So let's see what is going to happen here as the game has slowed down quite a bit. Now, this is the paintball we're used to seeing out of the Noobies. Very slow, very methodical, but unfortunately it looks like we're in a situation right now where...
Yeah, and on this field, like this, it's just my perspective, but I don't think this is how you play this field. You've got to be able to create offense. If you're just going to play the sit and wait game and you both sit and wait, you're leaving a lot of things up to the referees. You're leaving a lot of things to chance. Like, you've got to create some tempo.
You have DeVivo.
Yeah, now we're down in that 1 minute danger area.
Yes.
Somebody gets a penalty, it's a big one.
So a major penalty under 60 seconds is an automatic swing point. So if the Noobies could catch a sneaky one in on P-Mob and get that major penalty, then we may be lucky. Oh, and unfortunately, the Noobies player did not know that P-Mob player had got out to snake corners. So, as the camera guy takes a hot one in the neck. Yeah, that's a tough one there.
Yeah, now they're banking on a 20-second point.
Yep. Thorn looks like he's injured himself sliding into the mud. That's a big loss there for... Oh, no. So Jake Thorn, snake specialist for P-Mob, limping off the field. You never want to see that.
No, hopefully it's just a little stinger.
Yeah, mud does make things interesting. Obviously, if you're just now tuning in, we did make it through Hurricane Nicole here, or Tropical Storm, technically. Hurricane Nicole made it all the way through, and we were able to throw on this amazing event. Again, we are here on the NXL Premier Field all weekend long. If you're in the local area, Orlando, Kissimmee, you want to come out, we have some great vendor booths going on as well. And shout out to our sponsors, ProShar Paintball, Planet Eclipse, GI Sports, HK Army. They have some new products here. Lone Wolf Paintball Dye has a new marker. The DLS, Sup Air, and DLX Lux out here as we get ready for this next match. TCP Machine. Trying to figure out right now a little bit of a clock issue. So they're working through the clock. A little technical timeout here. As you can see, the scoreboard showing no time.
Yeah, you got Dan over here working on something.
Yeah, they're trying to figure it out right now. So, again, thank you so much for watching, everybody. Make sure you're following us on all of our social media channels as we get ready to get into this next match between TCP Machine and Distortion. Distortion up 3-0 right now on TCP Machine. Not a ton of time left in this game as Dirty Joe Klockner is going to work right now over the top, followed up. I think it's Ganowitcha there with him in the center.
He's with you.
He's with you. As they're trying to get any shots to the middle to try to stop that outside push on the Dorito side. But Dan Sensi, so Dan Sensi there, as you can see, being the ever stopgap. I mean, Podpack's so heavy you can barely make it out there to that spot. Just pumping paint through there.
Again, Distortion's going to go nowhere. They're going to be content with just making this, like that.
Oh,
They're
great job.
With sitting and waiting and making TCP create the offense.
Yep, so off of that move, Idema gets into the snake. So great job by Idema. See if he's going to stay alive. So he is. So off the chaos, he gets in there. 60 seconds left to go. TCP really has to put something on right now. I mean, they're 2-0. They don't want to lose this one because that puts them in a situation where they have to win the next one and not go 2-2. So, I mean, you don't want to. At this point, you need to die on your sword.
Yep.
So Dirty Joe Klockner. Oh, he's going to get.
I think he got shot.
He did get shot. He's got to be careful. Yeah. Yep, he's out. Oh, and a minor penalty being pulled on Klockner as he gets shot in the pod pack.
Yeah.
Going to pull out Idema from the snake. Idema just eyes to the sky in frustration on that one. Yeah, not happy about that, shaking his head. But Distortion's going to put some work in as looks like Hank Stumpf came through and took out another player for TCP Machine. So,
yeah, poor kid in the Dorito has been working on his gun, I think, the whole time.
Little hopper surgery.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a tough one.
Yeah, now he's going to get annihilated.
I think that's.
Sorry, fella.
I want to say it's AJ Lawhead that just got shot out of the center.
Yeah.
So 2 seconds left.
Yeah, they'll burn that. So I unfortunately have to run away and go to my guys, but thanks for letting me up here. Hey, if you guys are enjoying this, please make sure you're sharing it. Friends, family, if you want to keep this thing going, we need more people to watch.
So
thank you.
Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, of course.
You're a legend. Love seeing you out there with the team. So as Ryan steps out, we will go ahead and finish off this match. We will see Notorious next in the next set, so excited for that. So if you're just now tuning in, we have a great day of NXL action and WNXL action going on. So please make sure you stick around and give some love and support, just like Ryan was saying. So in this next set, it's going to be Austin Notorious and taking on the Padres. Killers taking on Ruthless Factory. So 2 stories there we'll get into at the start of that next match. So P-Mob here, up by 1. 23 seconds left to go. So, unfortunately, just not, Noobies player not able to make it into, give him a little extra love on the way out there. So things, absolutely chaos just breaking down right now as Manny Karpinski takes a couple extra in the head and the snake. So that will do it. So P-Mob will take the win over the Noobies. So great job there by P-Mob, and Distortion is going to take the win in their match against TCP Machine. So great job there by both those teams. Now, any games under 10 seconds are not going to be played at all. So we're going to go ahead and get into the next set after this commercial break. Again, I'm Vince from Let's Talk Paintball, and we'll see you soon.